Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So, AI crypto tokens, AI agents, AI DeFi, DF, AI, AI meme coins. Let's jump into them right now because I have been on the record as saying that I do think this will be a meme coin super cycle. And obviously, with now the new president, Donald Trump, launching his own meme coin, it does make me feel even more strongly about meme coins likely being the best performing sector of this cycle and throughout the rest of this year. However, AI is the other sector that I have been talking a lot about because I do feel we are also in the cycle for AI. If there's two really hot sectors right now, it is meme coins, with obviously Trump recently launching his own meme coin. Obviously, Elon Musk keeps on talking about sort of Dogecoin and making sort of subtle shills on Pepe. And then we've got AI and obviously the introduction of the AI agent and obviously NVIDIA CEO coming out and talking about AI agents, how they're going to be such a big part of our lives very, very soon. So I wanted to dive into it on this video and just give a bit of an update because I did already do a video where I was very, very critical of AI agents, saying to avoid them, don't invest. It's a bubble, it's overinflated. Prices need to cool, things need to come off, people need to move on to another narrative, people need to look elsewhere, and then potentially when the dust settles, we can pick up a few of these. I feel like we're getting close to that point now where some of these AI agents are down 50, 60, 70%. Not even the AI agents, but actually the AI agent infrastructure picks. And this is what I've always said I'd be interested in investing into, would actually be an investment into the infrastructure, not actually the AI agent itself, which I feel like AI agents, they can be replaced. Newer, faster, better ones can come along within a day. People will, I think, at some point be able to have personalize their own AI agent, even create their own AI agent. I don't actually see the value in having a coin which is specifically for an individual AI agent. You've also got these AI agent coins that are actually swarms. So they're a group of many AI agents, and the AI agents can produce another AI agent within the same, sort of family, the same swarm. So it's all very interesting. It's all happening very, very fast. And I do actually think there is an opportunity for some trades here to get in and make a bit of money out of this sector this year, right now. So I'm going to go onto screen share and I'm going to talk a little bit just about some of the AI picks. Obviously, some of these AI picks I've already talked about and I've covered before in past videos. So obviously, I've talked about Near Protocol being a top AI pick. Obviously, Near is really a blockchain, a layer one, which is targeted specifically for AI and AI based investments. So I do believe that Near will be a big runner at some point this year. I've also recently had a request for Internet Computer. I will jump into Internet Computer in a bit more detail shortly. I don't know a huge amount about Internet Computer. I think there are probably other YouTubers and channels that know more about this token. I believe it's fairly complex, but I will jump into it because I think sort of tokenomics wise, in terms of the market cap and looking at the fully diluted valuation, I remember there being a very large discrepancy between these two numbers when I looked at it in the past. These two numbers have now converged. There is not as much inflation to come onto the market for Internet Computer, and therefore potentially it can run. It is obviously a larger token, so really, if you're investing in Internet Computer, you need to really ask yourself, what are the advantages? What is the premium? Because obviously, I'm paying a premium here to invest in Internet Computer over some of these other protocols. What is that premium worth? And is it actually worth paying for the higher market cap with Near? I personally think it is. I've done my research into Near. With Internet Computer, I'm not so sure, but we'll take a look at it today, and potentially I'll do some more research into it when I get some more time. Render as well is another one that I like. So obviously, decentralized computing power, I think is going to be a big, big narrative moving forward. And Render is obviously the blue chip is the front runner in terms of that narrative. Obviously, going into the sort of the RWA sort of deep in sort of decentralized physical infrastructure sort of sectors as well, narratives as well. So I do like Render. Tao's been a really big one. I don't own any of it myself, but I know it's very popular. Artificial Superintelligence Alliance, so previously FET, they joined together with, I think it was AGI and Ocean as well. So yeah, I do like FET. I've got a fair bit of it myself. And then we're moving on to things like Virtuals Protocol. So even though Virtuals Protocol has come off over the last week, it's obviously well, over the last week it's down 2.8%. Over the last day it's down about 14%. But obviously it was a bit higher at one point. It has now started to come down, and I am getting a bit more interested at this valuation. I believe it was around 4 or 5 billion when I first looked at this on my first video, and now we're below 3. And I was sort of saying, look, the last video I did about AI, it was on my picks as I think my second pick that I did, my third or second pick, and I did say under $3. I'll start to get interested. Obviously, we're trading now at $2.87, so potentially virtuals is one. Graph has been around for a long time. Graph, I think, will do well also. It's a solid pick. We get AI16Z as well. So I had previously said that I didn't really like this. This just looks like a complete meme coin with the sort of photo of the girl trying to say they're going to beat A16Z, a hedge fund out there. I just think it's all a little bit too much for me to sort of believe in. But I get it. I get that you have this, sort of this autonomous fund, this AI controlling what the fund invests into, and actually the AI is doing the research. The AI basically has full discretion over the investments that the fund makes. I think it's a very interesting concept. At the moment, it is just a concept. It's an experiment, if you want to put it that way. Is it an experiment worth 1 billion in market cap? Well, recently it was above 2 billion, and it has now come down to just below 1 billion today. It's just above 1 billion right now. I think if you wanted to get some exposure to the AI agent narrative, I think Virtual's AI16Z, obviously right now they're the leaders in the narrative. So I will always encourage anybody to back winners. You want to back winners, whether you're placing a bet somewhere or whether you're making an investment. Usually the dominant market participant sort of consumes all the others. Usually the flow of money goes into the most dominant sort of company, or the most dominant cryptocurrency within the ecosystem. We've seen this with, for example, Bitcoin. Obviously, Bitcoin dominance has been going up for the last 3 years. It probably will come down at some point this year, but nobody can deny that Bitcoin is by far the dominant cryptocurrency, and the vast majority, 99.9% of cryptos trend down over the long run against it. So I do like AI 16Z. Obviously, we've got many, many, many more along here. Griffane is one I've been looking at. What else down here have I talked about? I've got some Nasana, which is on Solana, which I like. Tars AI was another recommendation I have. So I do want to dig into one or two of these in a little bit more detail. Obviously, I said I'd look at Internet Computer, and Internet Computer, like I say, we've had pretty much since launch, we've had the sort of, this is looking at the market cap here. We had the market cap coming down to close, well, between 1 and 2 billion, trending sideways. So long accumulation, breakout. It's come back down. It's retested really the 2.5 billion mark down here, or not quite actually. It's managed to hold above. So it got down to about 3.1 billion. Up here was about 2.5. So it's been able to stay above its accumulation range over 2023 throughout 2024. And it's starting to grind up. So, I mean, chart wise, it looks healthy. Like I said, in terms of the tokenomics, 91% of it is now out on the market. So, I mean, we can take a very quick look at the website and see what that's saying. Like I say, I want to research this in my own time in a little bit more detail. So I won't go into too much detail on this one now. But the Internet Computer hosts secure network resident code and data. Okay, build web apps without big tech, and current AI applications are immune to cyber attacks and unstoppable, capable of processing tokens and can run under exclusive DAO control. Okay, that's good. So it shows some DAO control, decentralization, immune from cyber attacks, etc., etc. All sounds very good. Yeah, I'd have to do a bit more research into it, but I think as an AI pick, sort of looking at the sort of final year of the bull market with AI being such a strong narrative, I think it could do very, very well. I can't really give any price predictions right here, but I mean, it's at $10 right now, which is a 5 billion market cap. Can this go to, 20, 25 billion, do sort of like a 4 to 5x? I think is probably possible for this. Certainly, if AI as a narrative really gets a strong run this year, which it definitely can do. So it seems like some of the other, similar to some of the other AI projects where they have their own network, and I assume that the network is starting to think for itself and starting to sort of take in all sorts of data from users, and it's almost like the more network effect there is from users sort of inputting more data and feeding more information, the more intelligent it becomes. I think that is a principle with some of these AI projects, things like BitTensor as well, I think are along the same lines. The other one I was going to look at a little bit more closely was TARS AI as well. So we've got this one. So this is a lot smaller. This is under 200 million market cap. And we can see the market cap to FDV is 0.66. So exactly two-thirds of the suppliers currently on the market. And yeah, we've seen some decent price appreciation really from the end of last year. And this is a healthy looking chart. I mean, this is actually a really healthy looking chart. We can see it started off very low, and it's run up, it's consolidated, it hasn't come too far back down. It kind of went up to 20 cents, so it took like a 50% dip, accumulated over the majority of last year, and it's broken out and it's starting to mark up again. This is actually one of the stronger charts. It hasn't even got back to its summer levels, whereas a lot of other altcoins have actually come down to summer levels. If you can see the market cap, we see the market cap really has exploded over December time. This is probably the result of some unlocks. So if we actually sort of look at price, price did a similar thing, to be fair. So price going really from around sort of one up to about four, and we went from 50 up to about two. So yeah, very similar, very similar. It looks like it has. Obviously, this is a lot steeper, so it looks like it probably has had some unlocks from last summer coming on there. But yeah, for me, the chart looks good, and if we actually look at the website, I was having a little look at this just before I went on stream. And I believe this is actually built on Solana. It's a Solana ecosystem pick as well. So the AI architecture protocol on Solana, symbiotic AI app ecosystem dedicated to 1 million plus Solana users, AI console. So, I mean, it all sounds really, really good. And obviously, with the massive move we've had earlier on today on Solana, obviously, Solana rallying back to all time highs literally today off the back of obviously Trump announcing that his meme coin was on Solana. It seems like Solana is again going to be one of the front runners over the rest of this bull run. So I actually quite like it. I mean, I don't actually own any TARs yet myself, but I will do some more research into this. I like the fact that the market cap is fairly low at 300 million, and I say to myself, look, this has potential, potentially to run into the billions this cycle if we get a really, sort of big sort of explosion when it comes to sort of mind share and when it comes to sort of adoption coming in from retail. And I'll have to find out a little bit more about what this project's about. So I probably will talk about this one again. But yeah, obviously, thanks for the sort of comment that commented for me to look at those two, and hopefully that helps a bit. So yeah, like I say, some of these are on decent dips here, and let's go over to TradingView and let's have a look at a few of them. The first one I've got here is AI16Z. So we just talked about this at the start of the video. You can see we ran all the way up. Let's put this on a 4 hour just so we can get a bit more history. We can see we went as high as $2.50 and we've come all the way down to $1 now. So, that's a pretty nice haircut on the price of AI16Z from low to high. We've done basically a 63% drop. Can this go a bit lower and come down to sort of like the 80s? Yes, it probably can. I mean, usually high risk meme coins. I know this is not a meme coin, but obviously it is sort of gimmicking. It has the same sort of gimmick effect as one. Could it come down like 70% even, maybe into the 70s, maybe into the 60 cent? It can. I mean, it's high risk here. This is really a high risk buy where it is currently, because look, you're in a trend now of obviously sort of lower low, lower high. This lower high, if we make the lower low, I expect this probably to come down a fair bit lower, unless it just makes some sort of deviation around here. So, I talked about being interested in this at the 50% pullback, and obviously this low, when we broke down from that, obviously it became fairly clear that we were going to come back down to the range lows. So I think base case scenario, what you probably want to see now is some sort of flush of liquidity, some reclaim of this 90.91 level. And then from there, probably some sort of sideways consolidation. So I'll be interested in accumulating bits of this on dips over time. And I think what you'd be looking for to see is probably this narrative start to pick up again, maybe in a month or two's time. But this chart is looking fairly cooked here. That being said, do you want to be buying this up here, or do you want to be buying it down here? You want to be buying it down here when there's a discount, right? So if you think this narrative is going to stay around, I personally do think this narrative is going to stay around. Now I've done a little bit more research. Like I say, I still think these investments are very, very high risk, and this would be one of these things where, if the price was, still up here around $2.50, $3, I'd be saying, look, you're going to lose your money. You don't want to be buying at these levels. But at these levels down here at 0.95, potentially there's a 2x, a 3x. Maybe this could run over the course of the year up to, $4, $5. It's not a bad risk return. And there is a lot of attention on these right now in this space. Obviously, some of that attention has been sort of removed with Trump launching a meme coin, but this is the kind of dip. This is a lot of these tokens now coming out of the limelight, and this is the time you want to look at them and think about getting into them. So that's when you buy them. You buy things when nobody's talking about them, not when the whole world is talking about them. Every single sort of influencer out there is making like videos on them. I know I'm making a video right now, but I mean, it was absolutely crazy a couple of weeks ago when these things were right up here. And that's when I said, whoa, whoa, whoa. Just be careful. Don't go out, throwing money at these things where they are right here on this massive pump. Wait for them to come down. Wait for a bottom to be established. It could be here. It could be a little bit lower. Wait to see a little bit of accumulation take place. And then, it becomes a low risk, high reward trade, a low risk setup. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for low risk setups. You want to see fairly low volatility when you get into things in anticipation of that volatility then picking up again and then being able to ride a big move higher and getting out before it then turns and comes back down. So I do like it. I do like AI16Z here. I think it's one you can look to start to nibble at and start to build a position in. We've got AIXBT, which again is taking a lot, it's getting a lot of attention right now. Obviously, attention has cooled off over the last day with Trump's announcement and his meme coin. And this is actually looking quite interesting here, because if we take a Fibonacci, we can see we're back at the 50% level. I talk a lot about the 50% level being a key level that I like to see tagged, and as a level that I look at for a potential entry. So if we also capture these highs there, we can see we're coming into previous resistance, looking to now flip that support. Obviously, we sought resistance there. We broke through. This for me is looking like a good entry. Obviously, you don't want to see this come too much lower. Of course, it could come down to the 618. That would be okay coming into some of these moving averages. Obviously, we've got the 100 moving average on the 4 hour. This is the 4 hour chart. You really wouldn't want to see this going much lower than that. I think if we lose this 618, potentially we're going to come all the way back down to 0.36. So yes, for now, obviously just be careful with these things, but it's not a bad entry. I added a little bit earlier myself. I might add again after making this video because it doesn't look like a bad entry at all. But just yeah, give yourself plenty of room. Don't be buying these things on high leverage. Don't be, buying these things and having a liquidation price down around 50 cent or something because you will get tagged. These things are highly volatile. But yeah, this is a strong chart as long as this holds this. Support level, this is really what I want to see, then you can start climbing higher and attack all-time highs again. So that's a couple for you. I'm just going through my own watch list here and trying to sort of pick out those AI tokens. So I'm going to skip past some of the meme coins for now. Griffane as well is another one I don't actually, or I did not actually have any exposure to. This is one of these sort of DeFi AI coins. And if we just look at Fibonacci retracement, then look at that. We've come in to our 618 and we've come back to our 100 moving average on the 4 hour. So obviously the reason why I'm using the 4 hour, I prefer usually to use the daily. I'm more of a long-term trader, but obviously there's not as much price history on these charts. So I think the 4 hour is the better one to go for. Obviously, if we do look at this chart, we can do things like we can put on an ascending trend line as well. So I don't know if this will connect. Potentially we've got a bit of a trend going on there. Obviously, we can um, add a slightly steeper one on too, but it doesn't really make much difference. So potentially, if we do lose this, we could come back down to this trend. But yeah, I think 618 decent level to have a go at. And again, I like the fact that these things have come down. Look, something like Griffane, it has been a stronger one. It has literally made an all-time high a couple of days ago, and it's on a 35% dip. So yeah, I think this is an area I'm starting to get interested in. It's had over a 50% correction from swing low to swing high. So again, looking at picking up a position in Griffane around these levels. So a couple of others I've talked about then. I obviously mentioned Render at the start of the show. Render is back within its sort of longer term. We can go on to a daily here, but this sort of longer term consolidation, and it's starting to sort of coil up here in between two trend lines. So it's deviated beneath. It then went up and earlier on today had a go at breaking out above, and it's come all the way back down again to the bottom trend line. So we're expecting a breakout from this very, very soon. I would lean towards the upside based on what the rest of the market is doing. And yeah, we just really need to wait for a breakout and retest. We haven't seen that yet. And this is why you've got to be careful with breakouts, because look, we did get above this trend line, and then we've come back within it within the same day. This is why we like to see daily closes outside of these levels. And I do think Render is, well, if you wanted to buy it, you're either waiting for that breakout or you're wanting to buy it at this ascending trend line, which is currently at. So Render also looking like a good entry now. And to be honest, this is why I wanted to put this video out right now and actually look at the charts, because some of these are sat at decent entries. The other AI coin I've been talking about is Near, of course. So obviously top AI pick on my last video, and you can see we had broken out of this trend line and now we're coming back into it. So potentially Near wants to consolidate a little bit longer before actually getting this breakout. Of course, things could all change very, very quickly. We could rally up back above this trend line by the end of today. Certainly, it's going to be important what we do by the end of tomorrow night, because obviously, end of tomorrow night's the weekly close. I do have a sneaky feeling that we might see a bit of a pump tomorrow going into Monday and the Trump inauguration. So let's just keep an eye on what Near does here. But as long as we are holding this 618 level, which we have come below on a couple of occasions, but we're back above and above this 200-day moving average, this green MA, then I think near is also looking good. So both near render decent entries. Some of the AI agents we've looked at have been at decent entries as well. So things are looking fairly good here. Spectral's what I talked about on my AI picks, my last AI picks video. So we came below this ascending trend line here, wicked below it, took out all the liquidity through the 786, now back above it, look to be coming back in for a retest. So that is a retest that I think will be a good place to buy. So Spectral looks like a setup, might come over the next day or two. What else do we have here? So there's a couple of AI meme coins as well on here. So we've got Goat as well, which has been absolutely hammered. So it's obviously, if you like to buy things low, then this is really, you know, basically one of the lowest prices you could have actually bought this thing in the last couple of months. So yeah, I mean, for me, I want to wait and see a bit of strength coming into this chart. Really, I want to see Goat get back above the previous swing lows down here. So I'd say ideally, it's all a little bit messy, but you kind of want to get back above the lows here to actually get a bit more confidence in something like goats. So yeah, that's the level to get back above. It's to get back above 4.2, start to consolidate, or at least actually see some sideways consolidation above the previous low, which is coming in around about 2.9. So what you don't want to do is be getting into goat, and then obviously it falls through the floor and goes back down to, sort of into the teens. You want to really see this hold around 29 cents. And yeah, there's not really an opportunity here, like I say, unless you're getting in and you're setting a tight stop below that low. But it looks like it wants to potentially come down more. So obviously attention has shifted away from goat for now. We got turbo here as well. So turbo is another one I do really like. Trying to hold on to this ascending trend line. And then if it loses that, it's got the 618, which it has held 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times already. It's now got the 200-day moving average coming up in support as well. So potentially comes down there. Maybe it weeks a bit lower down to this trend line, takes the liquidity below this level. But yes, the AI memes under a bit of pressure today, along with the rest of the meme coins. Not really too much of a surprise. And let's probably finish off with Zerebro. So Zerebro, I was talking and I was saying it had to really get back above this high here from Thursday at the 3.6 level, or else it risked coming down lower. And that's exactly what we're seeing. So Zerebro in free fall right now. Do I think it is over for this token? Probably not. I think this probably does find a bottom at some point. It's down 77%. So it's probably getting close to low here. But of course, when the chart is doing something like this, it's very, very hard to buy. I mean, sometimes what I like to do, because I'm quite a high risk trader that does like to try and get in at low prices. Sometimes I'll sort of layer into charts, but there's just no chart history here. There's no sort of prior levels that we can really get in on. We'd have to go onto probably Dex Screener and actually look at a Dex chart of this and actually see where the previous accumulation zone was. So very, very hard for me to do too much analysis here. Obviously, initially we want to see this get back above 22, start to consolidate and build some momentum to then go higher. So yeah, just be very, very careful with a chart that looks like this. Zerebro, probably no trade for now. And then of course, not forgetting the leader in the AI agent narrative, or certainly the top infrastructure pick, is Virtuals. So obviously, as we've seen, Virtual have the bounce. It came down 50% retracement, just front run the 618, rallied up. It's coming back into its 50-day moving average, just going down to the 4-hour chart. We can see here we've sort of got above our moving averages on the 4-hour, had a bit of a cluster here, tried to hold, and we've since sort of come down sort of through those. So yes, a bit of indecision, potentially a little bit of chop on Virtuals, but like I say, anything sort of below 2.5, I think is pretty good value here. And I do think virtuals is probably here to stay, at least for the next few months, once this cycle bull market, crypto bull market continues. And obviously, these AI agents and the AI sector continues to get mindshare. So I think I'm going to wrap it up there. Obviously, I've covered a fair bit today around AI. Obviously, looking at both sort of AI tokens, both the AI agents, and also some AI memes. So, I'm pretty bullish on all of these tokens that I mentioned today. Some are at good levels to buy now. Things like Near, things like Render, potentially AI16Z, potentially Griffane, and a couple are looking a little bit more wobbly. Things like Cerebro, and one or two things like spec, kind of like wait and see, virtuals wait and see. So yes, hopefully that's been of some use. And yeah, like I say, none of this is financial advice. Definitely do your own research before investing. And I just want to say, if you have enjoyed today's video, please do think about liking the video, adding a comment if you've got any ideas, any feedback, any tokens you want me to look at within the AI narratives, or if you agree with any of these recommendations. If you disagree, if there's other tokens that you prefer, that you've seen, that you want to bring to my attention, feel free to do so. And I will talk to you all again on the next one. Okay, bye bye.